This week, Ben and Grant discuss the beautifully written and wildly compelling book, The Acolyte, Wayseeker, by the always brilliant Justina Ireland. Let's go. Welcome to another week of Cantina Chronicles. We are on a weekly Cantina crawl across the Star Wars galaxy, where we have delightful discourse about all things Star Wars, including news, notes, theory, synthesizing all media. We contextualize your canon. We are the landing pad for all things Star Wars. Grab a seat. Let's just chop it up. Talk about the whole thing. Grant?
I'm Sigrona Tima, my friend. Back on the pod, going back to the High Republic.
Yeah, buddy.
This week, I couldn't be happier. Wayseeker, this book, I was amazed how good this book was. When you had spoken about it, I think a few weeks back, and then I picked it up, and it's actually just incredible. It's actually some of the best prose I've ever read in terms of character and people, exploring different personalities, perspectives. It was really, really great.
Yeah, concepts. Yeah, the prose for sure. Justina Ireland, this is her book, talking about mainly Vernestra Rowe, who was a character she created for the High Republic. And it just shows. But the depth to the characters, the prose were lovely. And it was like very good standalone piece. It's just like a book that you can pick up without really knowing anything about anything else and just enjoy the ride without really having to know any of the context of what came before or after. It all is sort of explained to you in the book, like in a self-contained.
Yeah, and if you love the show The Acolyte, I think it's a fantastic book to pick up because it connects to all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, she lays a little bit of subtle groundwork there. She doesn't name Chimere, but
no.
This is going to be our spoiler-filled review. We never even say that because I think at this point, if you know us, you know we're here to talk about what happened in the book. I want to talk about that. The event.
Yeah, we want to get right into the book and the concepts of the book.
Yeah. I want to know how it all works together and I love existing in the world and thinking about it. I did listen to another podcast before this, though. Friend of this podcast, Meg Dowell, on her This Is Lit podcast, interviewed Justina Ireland about this book. I can't believe this was the only interview I could find on a podcast with Justina Ireland for this novel. There's probably more, but I just this one popped up. And
that's great. Do you have some insight to share as we get through certain scenes? Maybe you have some extra
information. I have a ton of takeaways. It was a fantastic interview, and I suggest you listen to it. I don't want to spoil that or steal too much about it or from that. There's a really funny question about Churro the Hutt, where Justina tells us where she thinks Churro the Hutt would be in like the sequel trilogy. And so that's my teaser to find out. You have to go listen to it because it's awesome. She does her own fan fiction of her own character and writes where she thinks he'd be. And it's awesome. Really kind of great. But she mentions she grew up and she would do all her reading in libraries. So it always upset her that she, when she would get one book in a series, but she didn't get them in order because she was just had to get them from the library. And so she wanted to make sure that her novel could stand alone for, people that just pick it up. And that's what it not beach read because it's actually like you said, the prose are complicated and amazing, but it was just such a satisfying read.
I thought it was descriptive. It was as you're walking through these spice dens on this distant world with Senator Garn or whatever those scenes, it was just beautifully described. And I felt like I was in the world. Very immersive writing.
Yeah, totally immersive. And I mean, I think Vernestra Rowe's my second favorite up there with Obi-Wan, top tier Jedi. She's so cool.
And I love that the book, you get the two different perspectives from Indara and Vernestra Rowe. And it's so fun to kind of switch between those perspectives.
Yeah, you just ping pong back and forth. And it's great because they're both awesome characters. And you're rooting for both of them. But yeah, it's she Vernestra in this book is 88 years old, and Indara is 26. And so, like at 26, you think you know what's up, but at 88, you've been doing Jedi stuff for the better part of a century, and you're at a different place. And I think the way she wrote Vernestra as that person, I thought was like really organic and human and fun.
And she's been, a Wayseeker for years, right? And exploring the fringes of the galaxy and fighting, threats out there, and or just exploring. And we don't really know those journeys. And I would love to get more books, maybe with Vernestra's journeys throughout her life, because she's such a cool character.
I wanted to spend some time talking about what it means to be a Wayseeker, because the way that she describes it in the novel, I'm like, isn't that just a Jedi? But like, how would you define Wayseeker, Grant?
A Jedi that is sort of like a pioneer, sort of going into the far reaches of the galaxy and sort of exploring new cultures out there and making sure that no one's being abused or harmed and people are feeling, protected and there's civility. I think that's what a Wayseeker is. Yeah.
In the Wikipedia, they define it as, I think I agree with you. I think like that's the fundamental tenet of it. But they say they operate Jedi who wish to operate independently of the Jedi High Council and its dictates, which is like, I mean, growing up, I just thought that's what a Jedi was. But it's like, apparently, Wayseekers are like, I'm not going to follow whatever, but if you choose to, you can, the core Jedi are like, we have an organized mission throughout the galaxy to sort of do the most good as we can. And, you'd be part of that. But right. Wayseekers just sort of like, I'm just going to go help, period. Full stop.
My interpretation was the Jedi Council allows Jedi to do this, basically.
Yeah.
It's sort of like, yes, you can do this for as long as you need to, but then Yaddle might call you and request your return to Coruscant. And that's kind of a fun place to start in this book. And I loved Yaddle.
Yes.
Vernestra's relationship with the council, how she ghosted them for years. Like, I love it.
Yeah, she turned out to be pretty punk rock, actually.
Yeah.
Like, Stellan Gios was the most, he's central casting Jedi on the council, council member, just like perfect in every way.
He seems like the the poster child for the Jedi, basically.
Exactly everything the Jedi want to be, and at the peak of their powers too, which is saying something. And and that was her master, and we get to dip into some old recordings of him, and we get some like Force. This is one of the coolest parts of Vernestra, is how she goes into like fugue state when she's in hyperspace, and like the Force literally just directly communicates with her. And so essentially we get a Force ghost there and see a little more Stellan Gios, which like I was happy with just the core of this stuff, but then stuff like that would like always happen, and I would be like, oh, that's awesome.
Okay, so we get some cool stuff in this book. We get the Stellan Gios ghost scene where it's like almost like a Paul Atreides moment. He looks different slightly. He's kind of looks aged and lost or something in this.
Well, they're fishing. He's just fishing.
Yeah, he's fishing. It's so cool. Yeah. And the quotes in there and the dialogue is fantastic.
Yeah. But so he's like a factor that's guiding Vernestra along, and as far as like they're trying to solve. I mean, the major thing are these bracelets that are I have the name for it, but they neutralize lightsabers,
nullifiers. I remember.
Yeah. It was an N. The nullifiers, and and she's worried about these things going to mass production, and leads her.
Were you thinking about Chimera at that point from the Acolyte?
No.
And then we get the Chimera mention in this book, which is
not by name, but
fascinating.
Yeah,
a massive failure or something that happened.
Yeah, and she mentions that she never took a Padawan after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whoopsie daisy. Mistakes were made.
Something happened. Yeah.
Right. And then they made up a tragedy for Indara too. She was like trapped on like in a collapsed mine or something for a while, and so that's why she took a year off.
On Seswena or whatever.
Yes,
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, that was.
She was just an artist.
Indara is such an interesting character. I would love more with Indara. You know, it's so cool.
Yeah, that was another thing Justina said on that podcast was that she just loves like Jedi librarians. She thinks that's just the cool stuff.
Yeah,
and so Indara got to have that as her like kind of origin story.
Right, she was like in the archives for years, and they were like, "We let you, bury your head in a book in a a holobook or holodeck."
The Jedi Council told Indara to touch grass. They were like,
"You need to go."
Okay.
Here's your ticket. Here's your bag.
Yeah. Which is great. They make an awesome team, the two of them.
The Canteros, the ship that's still around.
Yeah, the Canteros.
How did you feel about that? Wait, how do you feel that we go to all the High Republic planets that we visited in the books, essentially? Or if we don't go to them, or at least they're on like the navigational chart and the characters are almost going to them.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa, we're back in High Republic space, but it's like 60 years later, you said?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, 68.
Okay.
68 years later than Trial. So yeah,
that was cool. I like that about this book.
It was just like a really nice sprinkling of references to the High Republic, and it was regular. Like then you'd be like, oh, there's another
like Iram and Dalna, and so many mentions of all the
High Leap. We actually go to
High Leap. We go to High Leap.
Hey Leap. Yeah, that gave me a warm fuzzy when we went back there because I remember from phase 1, some stuff happened there, and that was really good. But it's just like a really nice, self-contained, like little detective story. And they're figuring it out, and there's good people and bad people, and they're dealing with their own stuff, and then they solve it and meet up with some friends along the way, and then they go home and they learn from their experience and they go and do something else. Like it's just a really simple little fun story. You know what you're doing. You're following the action. It's not too complicated. You've got great POVs.
The descriptions, the POVs are worth picking this book up. It's a great beach read. It's just a great time.
Yeah, it's just a great time. It's so well written. I loved Nilsson Sumac. That's why we met today.
Those scenes, the Garn scenes and the Nilsson Sumac scenes, I think are just spectacular in this book.
Yeah, they're so slimy. We get a lot of Nilsson just being awful.
Yeah.
To everyone around him, and he's just like this petulant, spoiled, like a spice head.
So good.
Yeah.
The spices are flowing in this book, by the way. I was going to try to start the show with that. I just didn't know if that was like we want to flavor the atmosphere right away. But
yeah, definitely.
It's like I was like, this book is fantastic in terms of like the spice underworld on these planets.
We even got like different brands of spice that are better than others. Justina just went straight down. Like, let's talk about spice and spice addiction. Yeah. And just did
Everyone was spice addled and talking in different ways, and it was great.
Yeah, no, I like Nilsson. Nilsson Sumac. His mother was half Karani, so he had fully green eyes with no pupils, which is wild. And he's always blown out on spice. Like, otherwise he's human, so he's just like crazy. Like, so what a classic.
I love that you have that detail for us. That's great. It's incredible.
I gotta know what they look like. J6, I was like, there's so many droids in the High Republic, and that are just kind of cursorily mentioned, and they do like one thing in a book, and you're like, so it's tough to. So I had to go back to J6, but so this is the droid that flies for Vernestra in the Kintaras. He was made, I guess, or originally owned by Avon Staros, aka Avon Sunvale, and she gave him his own self-actualizing programming. Apparently this happened in the Test of Courage, which was that young adult novel, I think, that came out first. which introduced us to all these characters and Imri Kantaros and that whole gang. But yeah. So I lost my train of thought.
That's incredible. Yeah, J6.
J6, that was it. So he looks like Hu Yang was the point of that story. Sorry.
Right, but J6 is like the female Hu Yang.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. It's I think she's pink. And yeah, she her pronouns.
Her pronouns are she's less her.
Yeah, and yeah, I think she's like she's like rose gold, like that color. But her shape is like Hu Yang a little bit.
Yes, that's right.
Which is pretty cool. So early droids. But I love her and all of her weapons and her tude. And I love how Vernestra just sort of rolls with it. It's like you can do whatever you want. Just like go for it. And yeah. And that's, sometimes J6 just leaves, does her own thing for a while, and then comes back, and always on point though. But fun. Yeah, like not too many characters in here. Like they're kind of the core, and then Indara, and then mostly Nilsson's POV. Like those are our 3 POVs I think we get.
Yeah. It's really about Indara and Vernestra and sort of Indara's evolution, I think, as a Jedi. And learning from Vernestra, and Vernestra's a total rogue. She's a kind of a Qui-Gon character, which is awesome.
Yeah, serious Qui-Gon energy in this. I think this is what Qui-Gon would want to do if he lived, hundreds of years.
Yeah, sure.
But did we could. But yeah, Vernestra's just the coolest one, man. She just.
But it's also sort of a precursor to her work with the Senate, right? This book sort of gets into her involvement with the Senate and in the Acolyte, and sort of why she's so close to the Senate, why she's interacting with multiple senators and things like that.
I've actually got the line.
It's great.
It didn't matter that I excelled in such situations, able to navigate them in a way that promised nothing while everyone was left satisfied. So she was like a natural politician, which is like an interest. Like that's her burden, and that's so in character for Vernestra. She's just good at everything. And it's like, of course, she's a good politician, but she just wants to be out on the fringes, just helping people, immersed in the living force, just doing her thing and being great. And then, and not dealing with the whole council thing. But when she does make that appearance back at the council, it's a pretty big deal. And she shaves.
It's so cool. That's such a cool scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. She shaves her head in this book, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. How cool is that? Like that is.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I think she has like a dot on her head for all the people she's killed or something. Like she explains what the head tattoos are. And
that's right.
And there's a meaning to it, and it could be bodies. I don't know. But
she's so cool. She's one of the coolest characters of all time.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's where it's leaning. She's naturally good at this. And then ultimately her end is to be like, you know what? The Jedi can't handle this. It's really important to separate church and state, separate the Republic from the Jedi. But we need to have a liaison and a tether. And she's like, and I'm going to do it to make sure they don't screw it up. And I loved that. I love that. That makes so much sense. That like, she's like, I'm going to lean into this position and then have control over it so that, the council doesn't do things. Because she doesn't trust the council for reasons.
She's
like just skeptical.
Well, there are certain members of the council who give her a hard time when she gives speeches or when she explains herself.
Yeah,
and she'd rather just divulge to Yaddle and Yoda and stuff people like that.
She's like, yeah, those are her people. She's like, you guys are chill. Yeah. I think it's because she's such a free spirit. Like she's so punk rock and just like, I do what I want. And and then there's, council members that want to put her in a role and be like, you have a responsibility, and tell her how she's supposed to act. And she's like, no, I don't have to deal with that.
No.
Yeah.
She fought in the battle with the Nihil. Like she deserves to explore the frontier and
she had a Padawan
take as long as leave as she needs.
Yeah. Yeah, she was like one of the youngest ever masters
15.
knights, and then
Yeah.
and then she had a Padawan at like 16 or 15 still. Like,
Yeah, she was, I think, like at the same age as her first Padawan or something.
yeah, Imri Kantaras. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you think that felt for Chimere to have to get on the Kantaras? Like, you're never going to be as cool as her first Padawan, by the way.
I really want the Chimera story. I want to know what's going on.
Yeah. How do we not get that? We have no idea what happened. We just have a lightsaber whip scar, and that's it. Oh, I don't know.
All right, I have a pitch right now. What if Leslie Headland helms a film, a feature length film that's just all about the Vernestra Rowe Chimera relationship, and it's just a full on action film, and it's an incredible giant blockbuster that's sort of just built around the action between those two characters.
Imagine all that
could work.
And like the battles, and like Chimere's character is so like physical too. Like he's doing all those flips and the floating and the craziness, and like that would be awesome. And he's always leaning dark, and Vernestra's being awesome, but she's losing her grip. And yeah, I think that would be cool because
it's built up to a point. The mystery at this point, and it's one of the most compelling Star Wars mysteries there is right now.
Yeah,
that's out there, and I think that's the most fun stuff as for fans. It's what's the answer to that? What's happening there? Also, Plagueis in the cave in that show. I think we talk about that once an episode.
Yeah,
we would like that to continue. I think as fans, we're really interested in that.
What's the deal? We'll always have the James book, which like is a placeholder, whatever they decide. But
right.
Yeah, but that's definitely way up there. Yeah, I'm really fascinated by Chimere being Vernestra's Padawan. Like anyone being Vernestra's Padawan, I'd be excited about. But knowing what we know about him, like that, I want that story. I think it's fascinating. Like imagine how hard she pushed him because of how talented he was, and like know, no wonder he is like sick with a lightsaber, because dude, he learned from literally the best. Like
you wouldn't even have to in media resi. You could do the past and the present. You could go. Ooh. We could cut around a little bit and show as much as possible, because you want to know what's going on.
I love that.
It could be great. It's sort of the thing I think we all want. We want that story, or want to know what's going on there, because Vernestra Rowe is so interesting. And in this book, she remarks upon this massive failure with this Padawan.
Yeah,
that's it, and it's so juicy. You're like, what's happening here?
I kind of felt by the time I got to there, I was like, we're not dealing with that here. Like,
no, it wasn't that story.
Yeah, the scope of the story, and we were like, we're not going to deal with it. But just the fact that you mentioned it was like, oh, that one little half paragraph, and like that's all you're going to get, and it does plenty to warm you up for the Acolyte. I actually started watching the Acolyte again because of this book, and so I've got notes. I think we're going to probably all do a rewatch at some point in the near future. So. Save our
we're doing Acolyte rewatch soon. We've got lots more episodes planned, but Acolyte rewatch is definitely one that we're definitely going to do.
We have a couple more massive cameos in this book.
Yeah.
Ty Yorick.
Yep.
Big, an aged Ty Yorick.
Incredible. That was mind blowing. Yeah.
For her species, it's old. So yeah. And Ty Yorick.
Lothian?
Falothian.
Yeah.
Old for a Falothian. So, but she's getting around great. She's still doing jobs. It's gig economy. Figuring it out. And
I have all those issues, those comics with Ty Yorick. Bagged and sealed, just protected.
Because they're beautiful.
They're just beautiful.
Yeah, and they're so fun. It's like such a fun side quest, but I love how they get back into the end of the High Republic. And then again, here you get to see, and so I think the story is that like she did rejoin the Jedi for a while and then quit. Like something happened, and like I guess that was the split with Vernestra too. Vernestra like didn't have her back, and that was it. Yeah. And she was like, I'm out. So that's very Tyoric too. I could see it being like, no, it's not a happily ever after. It's like, I'll do this for as long as I feel safe around you guys. Yeah, so Tyoric was a huge one. I know we mentioned Yaddle was
Oppo Rancisis.
Oh yeah, Upper Rancisis was in there. Yeah, Uriel Poop. It was good. It's always fun to see the council, like whatever state.
Yeah, Stellan's Ghost. No big deal.
Yeah. Diva Lompop.
Diva Lompop.
Yeah. Also,
that's right.
By Justina Ireland. She designed her for. She did it intentionally did double duty, but the first appearance was in the Jabba the Hutt standalone from War of the Bounty Hunters.
That's right. Is that right?
Okay. Yes, that is right. And that was the first appearance, and then she showed up in another book there too. Oh, Defy the Storm, I think. She showed up, and I love that she teamed up with Vernestra there, and Avon Staros Sunvale, and yeah, she's a really really cool character. Like doing Vernestra and Diva alone, like she made like Justina Ireland made both of those characters, and it kind of blows me away because they're so beautifully defined. They're so overpowered in a great way, like a really fun way for me, just like sci-fi adventure. It's like, yeah, I want to see.
Devil Lompop is one of the coolest bounty hunters, added to the canon.
Lives forever. She can like physically just like unhinge her jaw and eat a full human.
She eats people. Yeah.
She's beautiful. She grows feathers out of her head. Yeah, she's always like in like fine clothing, and she's like rich because of her long life. Like she's just stacking cheddar, and I think she owns an asteroid in this, and like she has like Frankloid right built into an asteroid. Like that's because she had the sunken living room space, the sunken in like seating area where they all have tea. I'm like, oh, I want to hang out at Diva's pad. But yeah, I love that character so much, and I love how it just like casually plays both sides, and just all that gamesmanship between her taking out the hit on Vernestra from Nilsson, and then Vernestra just walking up to her being like, I know you, I'm sure you have a hit on me, and like they just sort of and then sort of played Diva against her own best desires, and I don't know, it was great.
No, I just think this book was incredible, and it's Indara and Vernestra fighting pirates, getting to the bottom of the nullifiers case, and I loved this book. I thought it was great.
Good smattering of political corruption.
Yeah, political corruption.
A lot of spice
throughout.
Just Jedi action, just like messing up thugs.
Vernestra just kind of being just lethal, and Indara being like, like I guess you can just flow across a room and disarm people and take people out.
Yep. Yeah, I loved that too. I think the biggest stuff with Vernestra, I just like her attitude towards the Force. There's a couple of quotes that I guess I won't drag you through.
No, please do.
Sorry. Oh yeah, I think one of the things was the way she talked about attachment, her, I don't know, she's like, it was like our connection with others gave us purpose as Jedi, but we could not let their fear become ours, and we cannot let our personal worries drive our actions. That to me had always been the true meaning of balance we Jedi strove towards: living without fear, loving and embracing the grief that ultimately comes when such a strong connection is lost. The sweet and bitter forever entangled. And but like this whole like first third of this book is full of things like that are exploring what it means to be a Jedi through Vernestra's eyes, and just everything.
Yeah, Vernestra's perspective is God tier. It's so interesting.
Yeah. It's just sort of like she just wants to be someone that goes out and does good on a day-to-day basis. And there was a way, I had the line somewhere and I can't find it now, so I apologize. But she's the greatest. Anything on any of the other?
Indara is cool. I really like Indara a lot too. The academic
Yeah.
Jedi who basically is sort of exploring, stretching outside the Jedi Council or the Jedi Temple, for the first time.
I love that she sort of sees Vernestra and she's intimidated, but like her attitude is just like, no, I'm going to toughen up and meet this challenge. And so she's kind of constantly measuring herself against one of the greatest Jedi of all time, but she's got a good perspective on all of that. But yeah, she's super skilled. She spent a ton of time. She says she spent more time than anyone in the training rooms and on Coruscant. Who's back there. So she's like, I know I have skills, but she doesn't really have the practical skills. She's got to go cut her teeth. And then she's brilliant and a great researcher, and that comes into play a bunch in the book as well, which is cool.
And she's picking up a lot of new skills with Vernestra that I feel like not a lot of Jedi are privy to. Vernestra is probably one of the best masters in the Order.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she's smart enough to soak it up, and I think she ends up becoming a Wayseeker, which explains we find her in Acolyte, the show, chilling on Uwe, I think. I forget the name of chilling.
It's like a fringe world, right? And it's like an outer rim planet. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, and she's just living her best self, which I wish I could have.
All right, we got to do the rewatch. I'm excited to do the rewatch because I really want to talk about the potential of a Chimera thing or something. I feel like we need it. It's like if he did announce that as a movie, I think we would all be incredibly energized about that.
Yeah, I think so too. All the characters were like really endearing except for Soul, and it's they're like all, I don't know. There's some really, really awesome things that happen in that show. Really cool Star Wars ground that's covered and explored, and it's super fun. So yeah, I'm looking forward to checking out that full experience again. With hindsight, and now we have this book to think about along with it. So yeah, it's pretty good. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about before we rip? R.I.P.
We can save it. I mean, we're going to do a full-on news next week, and
actually,
news extravaganza.
Next week is our 100th episode. So for the 100th, I wanted to do a definitive all the pillars in one episode.
All the pillars in one ep?
Yeah. We got to be quick. We got to do some research before this, and just a little overarching summary so that we can always.
Are our listeners familiar with the pillars?
I don't think
the pillars list is or concept is.
I'd see that's a thing. They're so old at this point. So I just wanted to cover all of them in one app and just kind of quickly bop through them, and and we'll take a look at them before we go, because I have a feeling with hindsight and what we've seen, some of our priorities might have changed, and some of our. I'd like to distill it down a little bit, but I
love it. So concentrate that Star Wars formula.
The pillars were designed.
I love that idea.
Make a Star Wars. What are the essential elements that you have to have in order to be distinctly a Star Wars? And we talked about this at length when we were with Core World News. We do whole episodes on one topic. I think we were killing time there in like 17. But yeah. So we'll do that.
It's some of our best stuff, honestly. It's us just talking about, archetypes and tropes and how Star Wars does it better than anyone. And it just feels, you can feel when it's operatic, and it sort of feels, like George would say, almost like a soap opera at times, where it's like just this familial drama, this Shakespearean drama. It's powerful. It's good stuff. Yeah, we're really getting to the core elements of what it makes a Star Wars. Yeah. So that'll always be episode 100, so we can just say it and we'll always remember it, and it'll all be there, because we always mention the pillars, but some people, new listeners, may want to actually know what they are. So anyways, 100th episode of Cantina Chronicles from the Cantina. We're going to run through all the pillars. Exciting. That's so exciting. Yeah, we'll have a full complement next week when we do that. With Adam. Hopefully he's doing okay. And we'll talk to you next week with all the pillars on Cantina Chronicles.